What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. How are you doing, Sue?
Doing great, man. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. I'm sporting the Dodgers. We're not going to talk really about the MLB, but I did want to say that all
Hey.
is still well in Dodgerland. And Mookie hit 3 home runs the other day, and then another home run the next day.
You would
and
you would you would mention that.
he's doing his thing. But what I did want to mention, another thing that you guys, when you gave us Mookie, we gave you a bunch of prospects. Well, we still have a bunch of prospects, and they're still good. Kybert Ruiz, one of our top prospects, got his MLB debut today and cranked a homer in his first at bat. So his very first MLB game is a home run. So we're still just filing through. Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, our two pitchers, are looking really good. Gavin Lux still hasn't gotten called up yet, but obviously last year he played pretty well when he got called up. So our farm
Yeah,
system's still the best in the
cool.
league. It's looking
Great for
good.
you. And that's going to be all we're talking about
Yeah,
baseball because, as you said, the Red Sox are still
because
ass.
everything's the same.
JD Martinez just can't find his groove. The only person on our team that I will actually give props to is Rafael Devers.
Hmm.
Rafi just keeps putting up highlights in the field. I love this kid. I think he's probably 23 now. I think 22, 23 years old, a young kid. I guess in our farm system because
Yeah, I think he was.
whenever we won the series, he was 20, 21 years old and his first season. So, yeah, other than that, we're just the freaking walking mat of the AL East right now. And the Yankees and the Rays are freaking putting in work on us right now.
I
But, I
did.
mean, hey, we did keep the Yankees to 4 runs today. So,
Nice.
so woohoo. But also, man, you lost to Selavel or whatever the crap that is. And
Sevilla
yeah, I think so. And the
Champions
German
League.
Cup, whatever. Yeah, Champions League.
Yeah.
So sports today was
Bayern beat Barcelona 8-2 in that.
oh yeah, and three of our like six free agency signings for the Jaguars in the offseason this year are opting out. Found that out. Found the third one out
Jeez.
today. So yeah, this has been a great week for us
Well, I did
here
want to.
in Silland,
I
Silville.
you the way you said brought up Devers reminded me. I wanted to shout out a lot of the young guys in baseball are just killing it, man.
Mm.
Tatis down there by you is looking really good. And
That's the Padres dude, right?
oh yeah.
I was about to say, I was actually trying to remember his name when we started bringing up
I thought he was on
baseball
the Marlins for some reason, but yeah, he's on
because
the pod.
his story and everything too, like how charismatic he is, and
Yeah,
just he
he's
reminds
fun.
me
He's
he reminds me of Jose Fernandez. I mean, he's from the Dominican
mm-hmm.
Republican, but different country, obviously, but still the same type of American dream story, if you will. Not really the American dream for most of these guys because they don't, they're just here for baseball and all that stuff, and it's
Right.
very obvious. And that's cool. That's fine. It's your job, bub. Make that money and go home. But just the story and seeing this kid, I think it was a 30 for 30 that did something about him recently. But just from him being 16 and realizing his knack, and when he was 8 years old, he broke his femur or something. And his first question was, "Am I going to be able to play baseball again?" Not worried about if he's going to be able to feed himself or anything like
Right.
that. Like, will I be able to play baseball again? And just his personality and everything. That kid's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Vlad Jr.
Juan
He,
Soto is killing it.
dude,
It's just
it's yes. Good call. Good
yeah.
call.
Way to be if you're a lot of people are bored of baseball all the time. It's slow, it's whatever, but these young guys and their attitudes are crazy. I mean, Tatis is fun. He's out there dancing, doing fun things. It's
Yeah.
fun to watch. So
The Padres are actually fun to watch right now. I know your
I
boy
know.
Manny Machado's over there. He's doing really good. Did good
And
against you guys in that series.
of course, the only one that I put on my fantasy team is Tommy Pham, and he hasn't done shit this year, and now he's injured. So I tried to reach out and put a Padre on my team, and it didn't work.
Your
I have
fantasy
no
team is still
Giants on
good
my
so far.
teams, no Astros on my team. Stand firm there. But
Attaboy.
and then the last baseball shout out that I wanted to shout out, I don't know if they played today, but as of yesterday, Jose Altuve is batting 187. So it's pretty tough when you're not getting getting
That buzzer.
the buzzer
Getting
going
that
off.
buzzer
it's,
right there.
it's a little bit harder to hit. So props to you, big man, little man, whatever.
Yeah.
He got benched the other day. That's how bad he was doing. I love it. So that's
awesome.
baseball talk.
But while we're talking, hold on, I want to
What's
go
up?
back to the Astros real quick
Okay.
and mention a scrub. We don't really talk about scrubs that much anymore. We try to keep the show enlightening and positive. But how about that scrub? I don't know if it's a coach or something. Dude looked a little older. But the scrub from the Astros that was on the bench yelling at the guy on first base, the runner on first base after he just got hit from an obvious want to hit you, beam you in your back hit pitch.
Jeez, I didn't see that.
Dude, you didn't see the whole – it was
The one from the Athletics?
Yes, I think it was yesterday.
I didn't see a guy yelling at him, though. But, yeah, I mean, I saw the brawl thing.
He got the first base. He was kind of going at the pitcher, drawing at the pitcher. And when he got
Right.
to first base, it had to be because he had like gray hair and stuff. But the guy started chirping and jawing at the guy on first base. I don't know the Athletics guy's name. I'm sorry. And I don't know if this guy is a coach or who the hell he really is. And I'm sorry that I don't
He
have
could have just been like a Chase Utley kind of guy, like an old dude. Just an old player.
But he started jawing and chirping, and you could see that the guy was like, come on. And the A's dude was like, let's go. And started running, and then 2 or 3 players got in the way, and the guy just kind of kept going, but he was walking back and literally pushing people in front of him while he kept jawing. Scrub of the year. One, you started something that's going to get the A's a lot of fines. This guy's not going to be able to play probably damn near half the season. We saw what happened to your boy Joe.
It's still happening.
Yeah, so
they haven't even.
So you see what's going on with all that. So this is going to be way more, probably going to get 35, 36 game suspension for this guy charging the dugout. But the guy that was jawing and told him to come on wanted no part of it. Scrub of the year.
Yeah,
Absolute.
If you're going to step up, step up. If not, then keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, good strategy, I guess. But, I mean, that just makes you guys look like more of the biggest pieces of that we've seen in recent years in sports.
Well, as of right now, if the playoffs started today, the Astros would not be in it, and that is exciting for me. So that's all the baseball you need to know is the Dodgers are awesome, the Astros suck, and Seal isn't paying attention to baseball.
Red Sox are back to the 85 years of – but no, it's what we do. We do good. We get players. We sign a couple, but we won't sign the really great ones. We'll sign all right, we'll get JD Martinez. He's been, but and then we get all these young guns up there. But I just feel like our farm system isn't what it was. And we don't have, what's his name? Oh, my goodness. The GM that was just so amazing. Theo Epstein, right? Theo.
Yeah.
Epstein, right? Theo Epstein. We don't have him anymore to just go in there and make them crazy trades and crazy acquisitions. And we're pretty
this new ownership group is pretty tight-walleted, though, right? They don't spend a lot of money.
I mean, we do still spend a good bit of money, but I feel like a lot of the money that we do spend is on old cap hits, and stuff. I mean, they don't have cap, but old payroll hits and stuff like that.
Right.
Because I don't see with our roster that we have right now. I mean, a lot of the guys have only been on the team for 3 or 4 years, so.
True.
And they're young as crap.
So. Well. Yeah, it sucks when you're not being a Dodger fan.
When's the last time you heard about the Red Sox in free agency other than
that's
old Red Sox player moving teams?
Exactly. That's the thing. The Dodgers and the Yankees,
3 or 4 years.
The Dodgers and the Yankees fans will never understand it. And I mean, I know the Dodgers haven't won since '88, but we don't care. Like, we'll get anybody. We've got Manny Machado. We got Yu Darvish. We just go and we're like, we want people. And other markets don't do that. So it's
I don't know what happened. And so 2013 we won.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of got a little stale. 2017 we went ape shit and just went crazy and built that molecule that we ended up winning the next year with pretty outright, and just let it ride off into the sunset. And it seems to kind of be what happened after 2008. It's kind of what's happening again, and we're just moving into a new Red Sox era, which hopefully turns into another 2 or 3 championships in the next 10 years.
Because as long as the Dodgers.
That's all I have. I have the Jaguars, I have the Cavs, and I have the Red Sox. So really, I just hang on to my Red Sox fandom when it comes to talking about ships.
Yeah, as long as the Dodgers win something, I have nothing. I have a 2002 Super Bowl from Tampa Bay, so I'm holding on to that. But let's actually shift gears. Let's talk about the NBA because that's the thing that is here. The playoffs start today if you're listening to this, Monday. So they're here. It's time. We can actually look at these series and talk about it. And it's really exciting because we got the matchups that a lot of people wanted. We got, for example, Oklahoma City's facing Houston, which is the Chris Paul trade. And it's crazy that that's the 4-5 matchup. So Oklahoma City, everyone thought they were going to just be bad after they got an old Chris Paul. Well, they're not bad. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They're really good. Do you see – well, we'll break down – we're not going to break down in specifics, but we also – I'll just name them. LA is facing Portland. We got Houston, OKC, Denver, Utah, and the Clippers and Mavericks on the West. So when you're looking at the West, do you see any tight, like 7-game series coming out of here, or does it look like
I see
City?
One. The one that's obviously going to be the one to watch, I think, for the old school basketball player, the old school fan. Even the new school guys are going to like this just because of Jokic and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Jazz and the Nuggets. That's going to be a very, very tight series. Hella coaches, hella players, just absolute top to bottom. It's an amazing matchup, and it's not even the 4-5. But that's the series that I'm looking forward to watching all 6-7 games. It's definitely going to be tight. It's going to be great. It's going to come down to – you might not have the 120 to 126 scores, but it's going to be great basketball. It's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of fouls. We're going to see what happens with that. These two teams in playoff basketball, we're definitely going to have probably at least 1 or 2 foul outs from starters every game.
Oh, yeah.
And,
well, Mike Conley left the bubble, which sucks. He was actually looking pretty good during the exhibition games. So he went to go have a son, I think. But
grab a beer.
But he's not there. But, yeah, the stars are going to shine. But I think if Michael Porter Jr. continues to play the way he's played the last few games, I'm not sure that Utah can keep up with the output. If Jamal Murray is playing well, and then, of course, Jokic with just Spida and Ingles.
With the way Michael Porter Jr. is playing in the bubble and the way Kevin Porter Jr. was playing before the Cavs were just ass all you, but he was in the latter part of the season, Kevin Porter Jr. started being a leader on that team, the Cavs, and just being a scoring machine. So these Porter Juniors, they both in their drafts were high risk from injuries. Kevin Porter Jr. fell. I think he was our 3rd draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, my phone's doing weird stuff to my mic. But if I'm not mistaken, he was our 2nd or 3rd draft pick. He was coming into college, a top 5 high school athlete, and then fell all the way – he was the 2nd round pick. Fell all the way to the 2nd round for us. Do you think these guys that are coming out with all these risk factors and blossoming into fruition really early into their careers right off – I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was out for a very long point of time, but now that his career started, he is – what is he, in the first 50 games of his career, and he is still freaking insane. I mean, it's the 2nd season, but damn. But do you think these real quick? Do you think these teams are going to kind of shoo off these pre-known injuries because of the science? I don't know what it is, but these players with all these injuries back in the day they're able to wipe them away and come out and kill it in today's NBA.
Well, I think those are two different situations because Michael Porter Jr. was the number 1 draft pick in high school. I mean, in 10th grade, I think he was the number 1 draft pick. So even though he fell, him falling, he was 7, I think, something like that, 6 or 7. Yeah. But I see him more from like a Ben Simmons perspective. Like they knew as soon as he was able to get on the floor, he was going to be good. And I think in those situations, those guys aren't going to drop that far. But even then, you saw him drop all the way out of the top 5. So that's big. But in Kevin Porter Jr., a lot of times those types of players won't even get looked at, won't even get a shot at training camp or anything else. So I don't know. It's scary because we were talking before we actually hit record, kind of like Tua in the NFL, and I think it's different for the NBA and the NFL, but science is miraculous now, man. These kids can come back and play better than they've ever played before, and I think we will start to see people take risks, so to speak, and almost do the process that Philly has done and made into a meme, where grab the injured guy and let him sit and lose again, get another good guy, and then you have 2 Rookie of the Year candidates on the same team. So we might see more people do that, because you see where Philly is today with it. So
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't like injuries ruining season or careers. So, but yeah, Michael Porter Jr. I think is different. They knew that he was going to be
He's still a stud. Even if he couldn't get off the ground, he could still stroke it.
Yeah.
From anywhere on the court. It's insane.
So if he's playing at that level, though, this series might be quicker than we thought. But I'm excited about these series, but I don't think any of them are really going to be too close. I think I want the Rockets series to be 7 games, but I think they're going to win in like 5. Like,
I don't think, because Russ isn't playing in the first round, I don't think.
Oh, really?
So I don't. Yeah, he messed up his knee or something, but I'm pretty sure he's not playing in the first round. I heard that the other day. I'm not too sure if that's affirmed or not. But I mean, a lot of people were saying the Suns weren't going to make it to the playoffs, but they damn near did. So
yeah, let's just shout them out, man. They did show why it was less than 1% chance to make the playoffs, because they did everything that they could do, and they still missed out. And I was watching and they missed out on a Karis LeVert step back jumper that I wish he would have just ran to the hole like he was for the 5 minutes before that every single possession. But
worst case, draw a foul.
I wanted Memphis to lose, honestly, because I like Damian Lillard, and I wanted to see he deserved it as well. So when it got down to the Portland and Nets game, I was like, dang, man, I kind of want to see both of us go in.
Now let's talk about Dame real quick. I kind of wanted to talk about him, but I didn't really know how to, because I feel like we both feel like it might go 5-6 games, but the Lakers inevitably, they just have too many weapons to be able to be beat by the Blazers, who have CJ. I mean, now they have Hoodie Melo, who's coming out berserks here in the bubble. But let's talk about Dame real quick. Ever since Marcus or Markieff, whichever Morris twin it is, and Pat Beverly just clowned, dog Dame for those 2 missed free throws, this MFer has came out and freaking shined. He's been unbelievable, better than anything this 4 or 5 game stretch from Dame is something I've never seen. I don't really remember too much of the 90s MJ. I never saw this from LeBron, being the Cavs fan I am. I never saw a streak like this. Never saw this from Kobe.
We saw it from Kobe, but not in playoff games.
I've never seen – I mean, granted, Kobe, though, the Celtics, he did kind of pull that freaking team out. I mean, without Kobe, they were nothing. But that team, as a Celsius, was able to beat the Celtics. Celtics. But
well, we saw Kobe. I think he scored 50 in 6 straight games or something. But yeah, it was in like the middle of the season when he hit 65 in 3 quarters against the Mavericks, and then the 81-point game the next game. Like, we saw that from him.
But in crunch time, I've never seen something like this go on. I mean, you see the spurts, you see the guys come out in playoff games knowing that they have to at least put up 40 for their team to win that Game 7 matchup, and they put up 60. We've seen that.
Right.
But you haven't seen this stretch before of just pure dominance from a scoring position, pulling up 2 feet from half court and just heat checking. I mean, and all the highlights you've seen from Dame lately is just shots with somebody right there, right on the funny bone. Boop, what you're trained to do. Let them release, hit the funny bone, let them know you're there. Doesn't fucking matter. This man has been lights out, absolutely insane. I mean, shout out to CJ and shout out to Melo for coming into fruition like he was back in 2009. And it's been awesome to see. But Dame, shout out to Dame. He's been the absolute best basketball player on the offensive side that I've ever seen in my life in this last week. Absolutely.
He reminds me it's a different in the 90s. You don't shoot, but he reminds me of Allen Iverson right now, just with the confidence and the ability to get wherever he needs to go. But then he also has the 20/20 shot. So it's ridiculous. And he knows he's going to get double teamed at the three. So yeah, he just crosses half court and goes, yeah, before they get to me, I'll just go ahead and shoot it.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
He reminds me of sophomore D Rose on steroids.
Yeah.
That's how I described him to my buddy the other day. Sophomore D Rose on steroids. It's been.
And he's what? He's 6'3", maybe 6'4".
Maybe.
And he's just getting
I think
in
he's
there.
shorter than Steph, and Steph's 6'3", so.
He's just getting in there doing whatever he wants. And I know teams don't hit all that much anymore, but he's shooting, 18 free throws a game, I feel like. So it's unbelievable. Even they should have lost to the Mavericks, but he had that shot that bounced off the back of the rim and somehow went in. And it's just like, when you're on, man. And he is on right now. But
they should have lost to the Grizzlies. I mean, in the first game, the Grizzlies came out and
Ja
kind of
was
turned it on there at the
bro.
end and put some pressure on. But when it's Dame time, bro,
it was Melo time in that game. He hit that huge three. But they don't play defense, and they can't beat the Lakers because they don't play defense.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is going to just
4 or 5 games. It's going to be 130 to 120 every game, no matter who wins or loses.
Yeah, if it's close at the end, I'm betting on Dame over LeBron. Even though LeBron has proven to be clutch, I'm not trying to anti-LeBron, but
the only thing is if you trap LeBron, like if it comes down to it, if you trap LeBron, he can boot it out to AD. He can shoot the shot. He can boot it out to Danny. He can shoot the shot.
Right. I mean, but that's what we saw from Portland. I mean,
but if you have to have Melo be Melo, he's
gonna have to hit the shot.
Nowhere, and you have to be CJ. CJ hasn't been the clutch guy. That's why you've seen Dame say
CJ takes over the first 3 quarters, and then
years ago you've seen Dame try to facilitate and hand CJ and let CJ be that guy at the end, and it never has happened. It doesn't.
But Gary Trent Jr., if he's hitting the way he's been hitting,
that boy there.
They can score with the Lakers, but they cannot stop the Lakers at all. I don't even know who's going to guard LeBron when they have that little small line. Is Melo going to try to nobody can even.
Who's going to guard AD? That's what I want to know.
Well, Nurkic will try to guard him, but then they're also going to have Dwight or JaVale or somebody in there.
That's what I'm saying. And Zach Collins is not. It's going to Nurkic is going to be on the 5, and Zach Collins is not guarding AD. There's no way in hell. I don't think Nurkic is really going to have. The only reason Nurkic is, I mean, he can keep you in front of him for the most part, but
they're going to score 150 points pretty easy. But yeah, so I don't think any of these things are. Again, depending on if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter do their thing, I think all 4 of these series are pretty easily skewed towards the favorites. But let's talk about the last one since we've talked about all of them. But what do you think about Luka and KP? Do you think they have any chance at these Clippers?
No, I think they're actually the only series that's up for a possible sweep. They talk about a team that doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
And you have so many guys on the Clippers that are just drooling at the chance to play this team, and they're so happy that they get to play Dallas because they could put up 110, 120 points, but against the Mavericks, I see the Clippers maybe shooting 10, 15 threes as a team. Yeah. And just dogging them out, going at their throat, and just cutting off the circulation and not letting them breathe whatsoever on both sides of the court. And there's no shot in hell in that series whatsoever. The Mavs do have a nice kind of thing going, but Luka and KP are going to need another 2 years and at least another shooter. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. just isn't that third piece that's going to get you there.
They have Seth Curry, right?
They have Seth, yeah. He's on their team too.
He's lights out. He's just not a great basketball player. But is Harrell back in the bubble yet?
I don't think so.
They're not gonna need him against the Mavericks, but they will need him in the next round. And this is a great transition, except that I suck at transitions and just made it sound like it was some weird thing. But he's going to match up with the Nuggets. It's going to be the Clippers and the Nuggets, and Manscaped is here to make sure that matchup is real.
Right,
no,
you
but,
start your part.
but seriously, they might match up as the Clippers and Nuggets, which is hilarious because that's what our read says, and we've been reading it, not knowing if that could be the matchup, and it is. So let's go ahead and talk about Manscaped. They are here to make sure that matchup in your personal life between the Clippers and the Nuggets are good to go. So they've partnered with us. They're here to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience, and we've talked about it many times, but they are the best tool for your family jewels.
Yeah, for sure. There's no reason to go into too many particulars. You've heard our stories and all of our interactions with the Manscaped products. I love the little lawnmower guy. It's absolutely amazing. It's definitely helped me out. And being in Florida, the anti-chafing stuff is absolutely amazing. And actually, I just learned, baby girl saw the other day that this stuff is like the pH stuff on it.
Yeah.
They that means something to them. I don't really care. I don't get it.
To girls, it means something?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So she thought it was awesome. She thought it was absolutely amazing. So another fucking reason to go get it. Another reason that the women love it.
I have not found a reason not to do it yet. It's really, it's so worth it. And that perfect package.
I have my Manscaped boxers on right now.
I don't know the price of it, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, everything that comes in it, which is that lawnmower that you were talking about, you get the the deodorant and the spray. And then, of course, you still, with our code, get those boxer briefs that Steele's wearing and that travel bag that we showed you a long time ago. Maybe next week we'll bring back out the travel bag and show you again. But
for sure, but
that perfect package is worth it. What's up?
I wanted to point out that all of the applicating products, the crop wipes, the crop cleanser, the crop preserve, all of that stuff is the pH, whatever the hell stuff. All of the applicator stuff is, and I guess that's a must for girls for some reason. Don't know, but found that out and could not wait.
So make sure you throw out when you meet your girl that there's some pH going on in where it counts. But
like, oh my goodness, the inside of your legs is so smooth. Be like, and it's pH ready for
balanced.
you.
It's got that balanced pH, baby. But yeah, head over to manscaped.com. You'll get 20% off and free shipping with our code NOSCRUBS, all one word. That's 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use the code NOSCRUBS. Take your grooming game to the next level. All right, so the Clippers and the Nuggets, it's going to happen, and it cracked me up when I saw that looking at the thing. But we're going to shift to the East now, and the East has the better matchups that I think could go, maybe not in the first round, but I think the second round is going to be amazing. But we have Milwaukee. Hold on, let me run them down. We have Milwaukee, Orlando, Indiana, Miami, Boston, Philly, and Toronto, Brooklyn. I'm sure you're with me, you fought a little bit there, but I think the Indiana, Miami is the only one that's not even up for a potential sweep.
Yeah, I agree. There's no reason for us to really talk about it. I mean, Jimmy B didn't play the other night. There was couple other players that didn't play. But either way, Kendrick Nunn continues to be a rookie beyond his years. This man's IQ with basketball is probably 863.4923. I mean, this dude he continues to amaze me just with his decision making, with any situation that comes up on the court. He always seems to make the right play in my eyes. I never really made it into a college. I didn't make it into pro, so I'm not too much there to think about with my mind, but he has been beyond his years on the court.
Yeah, and they're matching up with TJ Warren, which is ridiculous because we saw Sabonis go down and had to leave the bubble, get surgery, all that stuff. And I thought Indiana was done, and TJ Warren has shown that he's not They're not down. What's the big guy's name? Miles. What's
On the Heat?
Turner? No, on the
Oh,
Pacers?
Miles Turner, yeah.
Yeah, he's showed that you can play him, and I know like in the playoffs it's a different beast, and the Heat, Bam might be able to make him unplayable since Bam can run a little bit of a small ball, but he's proven that he's a big man that can still stay on the floor during the crunch time minutes and stuff like that, and I think the Pacers can actually give Miami a run for their money. I don't think it's going to be a quick series, but these other ones, depending on what Embiid does, they could maybe give Boston a couple of scares, but without Simmons, I think it's a lock there. And then the 1-8 and the 2-7 is maybe one game between the two of them.
See, I don't know. Orlando has been playing good ball, dude. They've been playing really good ball.
And Milwaukee's been playing bad ball, but I don't know.
Nucevic, right? That's the Orlando
Vucevic.
one, right? Nucevic. Well, it's with an N, right?
I don't know. They're all the
But
same.
it is.
They also,
It is. I'm pretty sure we're thinking of the same thing. But he has taken that Orlando team and became the guy and has been playing lights out, seeing a hell of a lot more threes from him than we're used to seeing. He is one of them big guys who has transitioned to the new age and been able to shoot a crap load of threes. I mean, he's a European guy, so he's used to shooting a crap load of threes. But he's came out and pretty much been a leader of that young squad, and they've been playing really good. I don't know what it is about the Orlando teams and these bubbles. I mean, RIP Orlando FC. But yeah, these Orlando teams were playing good in the bubble, and Orlando might be able to get them into a 6-7 game series.
I can't see it, man.
If we all know Giannis is suspect on if you are in the playoffs, if you are able to contain Giannis, there's not too much that you can do. And Orlando seems to have a couple of players that are going to be able to match up and guard him. And if they can contain him to 15, 20 points a game, you might be able to score 110 and pull out a victory. And if you can do that 4 times, you win the series. And I think that's more of a chance than people are giving them credit for. It's damn sure more of a chance than Brooklyn has against the Raptors.
I want to shout out these scrappy Nets, though, man. These are 12 guys that I don't recognize. Well, Karis LeVert is there, and Jared Allen, who is a backup center on any other team, but he's been their stud center for a few years now. And then there's really 8 guys that I've never heard of. No, he just gets paid. I don't know who he is. He just gets paid. But hey, Tyler Johnson was trying to get the Suns in the playoffs. Shout out to him. But these guys are hitting shots, man. Out. These guys are hitting shots. They're playing hard. They played hard in a game that did not matter, and that's exciting to me. They're not going to beat the Raptors.
And hopefully they were trying on defense.
Yeah, they were trying. They were trying really hard. Karis LeVert, man, I feel bad for him being the only one left in the bubble that's able to play basketball.
But yeah, in the fourth quarter, I think the Blazers put up 12, 14 free throw attempts. I mean, like, them boys were not going to let them get to the basket.
Jared Allen's a good rebounder, but on the other side, he's useless. He doesn't do anything on offense.
Bro, but when he blocks shots, I think he had 2 blocks in the fourth quarter. You're like, why do you not do that every damn possession? I mean, this dude is so big. He's such a freak when it comes to length. He's just, like you said, a waste.
But on the offensive side, he can't – I don't even know if he can catch the ball. I don't think that I've ever seen them try to throw it to him. So it's pretty crazy. But the other ones are – I think if Orlando gives Milwaukee 7 games, bro, I'll give you a cookie or something. Dude. I don't think they're –
Is this the year Brett Brown gets fired?
I sure hope so. He's not good. He's not interesting. He's a boring. That's not why he should get fired, but he's boring when they're talking to him in the interviews and everything. Did you see, by the way? This is a team that did not make the bubble. Didn't even make the bubble, but Chicago fired their head coach. And did you see Twitter, bro? They were happy. Chicago was so happy.
I mean, I don't really – Jim Boland, I don't know a lot about this guy. He was that was his second year, but he just finished up his second year. But they're happy. all the analysts, it seems like they're in a fresh start, a new start.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, he had 2 years. Zach LaVine is finally blossoming.
Larry Markkinen looks good. Like, he's been
Like,
getting some good stuff out of these people.
and that's what I was one of the guys, just like you, who was looking at this team as a positive, as a up and coming, and now I was as baffled, I guess, as you are with all the positive upbringing of this firing. That was crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Were you gonna say Mike D'Antoni before, or who were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Okay, because you asked, is this the year that your boy Brett Brown goes? Who else?
Oh yeah. Oh no. I wanted to shout out Mike Budenholzer.
Oh,
For his jeans every night, bro. He is loving the bubble. My man rocking the blue jeans every single game. He has his hair, whatever's left of it.
There's not much
back
up there,
every night. He looks like that guy that you see after a long day of work at the bar, getting his whiskey on the rocks, just listening to his old country jams, not ready for tomorrow.
So
He's
before
just living life,
he's having a good time. He is somebody that's not having a good time. Alvin Gentry. What are you thinking about Alvin Gentry? Do you think he's gone?
Yeah, he's gone. But is he like gone out of the league?
I mean, like, he's been well known to be a great assistant coach. He assisted Steve Kerr. He assisted in Phoenix before he became our head coach. He's a great assistant coach. Do you think he's going to be a head coach ever again? I don't know.
I think this is the point in time where he transitions to the front office. But I was very baffled and confused by this pick. I mean, he was like Bolin. He was able to kind of bring this team and start some kind of continuity and like respect yourself factor with his Pelican teams. They never went out and didn't give it their all. I mean, the last game kind of was a piss poor effort, but it was their last game and these guys are tired, ready to go home. But you just got Zion. You got 1 year and this guy's offense, and they looked damn good. He was able to get Zion a lot of highlights in the 15 minutes that the organization let him play the guy. So I think it was a year too soon. If they come out and miss the playoffs next year, absolutely. We have way too many young, great, talented players and a couple of good veterans that are going to be able to help this team out a hell of a lot to not at least get a 5-6 seed in the playoffs every single year. I mean, the Western Conference is strong as can be, but Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, Zion, I mean, you can't – that team cannot not make the playoffs for the next 4 or 5 years in a row. Whether they do become the team that gets knocked out every year in the first round because of their youth, because of their inexperience, that may happen. But I feel like it was a year too soon. If they didn't make the playoffs next year, cool, fine. I can deal with that. But it was such a shocking surprise to me.
I don't think it was about Alvin Gentry at all. I think it's about the next guy. And David Griffin, we talked about, of course, Ty Lue was his guy. He brought him in to deal with LeBron, and he's been quoted as saying, like, I needed somebody that will step up to LeBron, like, because David Blatt wouldn't do it. So that's probably what it is. He wants to grab Ty Lue before somebody else gives him that big deal. So I don't think it was as much about Alvin Gentry. I think it was about getting that next guy, and I think it's going to be Ty Lue, and I think we'll hear about that.
If it's not Ty Lue, I think everybody and their mama is going to be absolutely shocked and surprised, and somebody's going to have a heart attack or a stroke somewhere. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. When we talked about it the other day, I just didn't expect it to come so soon. But I just feel like there's been so many chances for Ty Lue and teams to come together and get these head coaching jobs that with all this crap going on, it's going to be hard for teams and coaches to meet up and search and stuff. So that might scare David Griffin a little bit because they're just going to have to go off of like, yo, this dude took over a team and won a ring.
Right.
And not be able to look in depth and do those type of whatever the reasons are that these teams didn't take him as a head coach in the last couple seasons. And he is an assistant on the Clippers now. Whatever made that happen, maybe that particular process doesn't happen this time and they aren't able to find those details or whatever it may be that these teams didn't take the plunge on it. So, yeah, I agree that you have to do it if you are looking at it from David Griffin's standpoint of we have to get him before somebody else does. But on the other side, other teams could have had him multiple times. Multiple teams could have gotten him, and they went with way more unexperienced people. But now we know who Nick Nurse is, and he's a hell of a coach.
It's true. So the last guy I wanted to bring up and ask about is Mike D'Antoni. What happens if Billy D kicks him out in the first round and Daryl Morey is going to be – Daryl Morey has to win now. He's about to be kicked out. Do you think he'll drop Mike D'Antoni and just try to make one last-ditch effort?
If OKC wins, they're both out. I don't see whoever the hell owns and runs the organization allows – you have two players that you got from that team. You took James Harden from that team knowing what that guy was, and you're prideful on that. You took Mike D'Antoni, who you thought that was going to be the biggest marriage ever in the game of basketball. Fuck Shaq and Kobe, baby. We got James Harden and Mike D'Antoni. We're about to score 160 points a game and run all over the NBA.
160 points a game,
but it just hasn't fruition in a playoff basketball. They're both gone after this. There's no way if they lose in the first round like in the past, they're gone. They're out. I mean, understandably, Russell Westbrook may be out in this series, so they're not going to be at full strength. But damn it, OKC has Chris Paul and Shai Alexander. And that's it. Like, that's really it.
That is
so
it.
If they were to lose in a 7-game series to OKC, a team that which you've plucked and pulled from recently in 2014 and took a gem, knowing it was a gem while they're just wasting talent on the bench with the 6th Man of the Year award, trying to get from Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford back in the day. But, yeah, they're both gone. They would have to rebuild. They have to get a new coach. They got to get a new GM. Whatever the hell they're doing in there isn't working, so we have to start fresh as can be. If they were to just fire the coach again and keep Daryl Morey, then Houston is just screwed, done. They need to wait until the owner does something stupid in the public eye, and then they can maybe do something smart
just
with the roster that they
become
have.
A new team.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's really what it's going to take. If they were – I mean, could you imagine just the match outside of James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul, just the role players.
Right.
Houston has probably one of the best benches in the league. So if D'Antoni can't get them to beat OKC in 5 games, 6 games, then they got to go. And if Daryl Morey didn't bring in the guys that can get it done, he's got to go. So I don't see a way that even if they don't make it to I don't want to. If they don't make it to the finals this year, but they would have to get past the Lakers and
the Clippers probably, or whoever's on the other side. I mean,
so I don't know. Well, to be continued on that, I guess. But if they were to lose in the first round, yeah, without a doubt, they both have to go. But I feel like if they don't make it to the finals this year, then something is going to be done in that office and that coaching room, and it's going to be nice to see for fans of Houston who are sick of seeing this.
Nice. Well, shout out to Billy Donovan because he left our boys to go to the NBA, and it looked like it was going to be a John Calipari 2.0. He was not coaching well. They were talking about him being fired in like his second year as a coach. They said he couldn't keep up. He ended up losing his best players, and now he's coach of the year, co-coach of the year, whatever the heck they decided to do with that. But hey, he proved that he actually knows what he's doing, and he's not just a college coach. So shout out to him.
Yeah, for sure. When I moved down here, he was in his second year, and one of my best friends is a huge OKC fan. He's one of them guys who just goes around where the basketball players is. I don't know who he is now, but he loves Russ. He loves KD, and he was a very avid OKC fan at this point in time and was not happy at all with the coaching he was getting from the Thunder under Billy Donovan. So to see the transition, I mean, it took damn near 5 years.
Yeah, it took a while.
But to see the way he's able to – I mean, it is very hard. We saw with the Cavs another Jim Beeline.
Yeah, Beeline.
it's hard. David Blatt. It's hard for people to come in from the outer ranks and coach in the NBA. That's why you see a lot of these assistants, a lot of these end of the bench guys that come in and get the assistant coaching jobs because at least they know the NBA. It's very hard. I mean, you get these kids who really don't come from a lot, and now it's their platform. There's 12 guys. I mean, it's hard to control that environment, that locker room. So I see it. It's been awesome to see him be able to come in he was used to it. He probably had a long talk with his wife late at night one night and said, these guys aren't college player. I got to treat these guys like they're grown men. Like I had Joe Kim Noah. I had Al Horford. I had these guys who are way beyond their years.
Right.
I need to treat every guy like I treated my star player, like I treated my best player. I got to give them my all. And you see that coming in. He's doing whatever the hell needs to be done to be a good coach in the NBA. But he's one of the far and few coaches who have been able to make that transition from college basketball to the NBA. But two-time college basketball champion, baby.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, didn't he get one with Providence too?
Ooh, yeah, as a player.
Stroking.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to be talking about the NBA mostly here coming up because we love it and it's playoff time. But the NFL is also going, and training camp looks good. I mean, there's not a lot of COVID stuff going around. It seems like, at least right now, they're taking care of business.
Yeah.
Are they doing like little personal bubbles?
Dude, I do not know.
Did you see the stupid Seahawks rookie though?
Yeah.
Talk about letting scrubs in.
So if you don't know about this, you're living under a rock if you do love sports. But this Seahawks rookie cornerback tried to – I don't know how he did it, if this female already had Seahawks gear or he sent it to her or whatnot. But the woman was dressed up in Seahawks training gear and tried to bring her into the hotel that he was staying for training camp and – play cards, whatever they wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, play cards. And, that's what they were going to do.
So it was found
out. You're going to use Manscaped is what they were going to do.
I don't know what came of, like, how it was figured out. But, yeah, this guy tried to sneak a girl on wearing Seahawks training equipment, got caught. Now this rookie's cut out of contract, out of $100,000 or however much the opt-out is. Yeah. It's crazy to see, but I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I don't want these guys, but I want it to be very stern and strict. I saw a picture today of Keelan Cole at practice, and he has on that whoever unveiled the COVID mask a couple months ago, but he's wearing that, and that's what we need. That's what we have to see. There's 52 guys that's going to be on the roster right now. There's 80 plus. We're going into our second week of training camp, and like we were talking earlier, we haven't really seen too much from the NFL come out of their mandates and their procedures and all that stuff, but it seems to be working. We saw that the Rams put out a huge tent-type temporary thing for personnel meetings and stuff like that, so they can be separated. And then also they can take the chairs away and turn it into a practice field and kind of keep everything secluded more so than they could in their regular practice, 100-yard practice field. I think they said this was a 700-yard tent facility. So it's awesome to see people doing that and just doing what it takes, because even more so than basketball. In basketball, you're guarded up, your face guarded and stuff like that. But in the NFL, for most of the play, you're either in a huddle or you have somebody right here. You're like headbutting. So it's going to take these guys to stay healthy and do what's needed and not have these girls come in or try to sneak a Papa John's delivery guy if all you can get is Domino's brought to you. That's what it's going to take. It's not hard. We've been in this new age. I don't want to say the new world because they're new world, but we're living in this new age of post-COVID start, and it's going to take the normalcies of now to get it going, and it's really not that hard. At the end of the day, it's a couple of things that are now normal to every human being that lives in America. At least I know there's a couple countries who are pretty much back to pre-COVID times, but not here. Nope. So we just need to do what we've been doing for the last couple of months and keep practicing those things. And it'll happen. I mean, we're definitely going to get those hiccups since we are traveling. Somebody's going to run into a buddy who may have just gotten it and not had any kind of anything. So they shake their hand after a game, dap them up, because it seems like some stadiums are going to be able to have fans.
Right.
And something, they may not get to the hand sanitizer right in time, and they might, scratch. Who knows? Something may happen. But as long as everybody's doing what they need to do, it's not going to be St. Louis Cardinals, Miami Marlins, round 2. And shout out to the Cardinals finally coming back.
I don't think they played today, though.
They didn't?
It said postponed on my thing again.
Never mind.
I think they're still 2-3. They've played 5 games.
But, yeah, like you said, not much coming out of football. But something that did come out, I told you about it earlier today. I got to go back to Wi-Fi, I guess. I'm so sick of this. But Alex Smith is officially back. Hasn't been in active quarterback status for over 2 years. Nope, not over 2 years. For about 2 years now. On November 18th of 2018, he shattered his leg in the game playing for the Redskins. He's their guy. All right, he's gone. Pat Mahomes is the Chiefs guy. Alex Smith's our guy. Wait, not so fast. November's, 4 or 5 games?
Yeah.
Oh, no, November. It's about 10 games into the season, actually, November. So about 10, 12 games into the season, shatters his leg. First year with the team. Shatters his leg. Done. All right. While he's dealing with that, he gets sepsis. I'm not too sure what sepsis is, but
poison, basically.
Yeah, I do know it's like a poison. It's from bacteria, and it just kind of goes in, and if it gets too bad, you're pretty much screwed and dead. And that almost happened to Alex Smith. He was able to overcome sepsis and not die. All right? He spent the next month in the hospital. Then for 3 months, he was in a wheelchair. And for 8 months, he was in an external fixator. I'm not too sure what that is, but my mind's telling me it's probably one of those like air boot things that just kind of keeps your leg where it needs to be.
I'm gonna Google it while you're talking.
But yeah, you Google that. But so that's what 8
external
11.
what?
So that's a year external fixator. So he was 4 months in a wheelchair, after a month in the hospital, and then 8 months in an external facilitator. In 9 months, it keeps getting better. 9 months, this man had, well, not better, but crazier. He had 17 surgeries. After shattering his leg, after getting sepsis, after being in a wheelchair for like forever, he had 17 surgeries in 9 months. And now almost 2 years later, Alex Smith is finally able to resume active activities or regular activities for the NFL, whatever that means. I mean, in the celebration video, I did shed a tear because it had his kids and his wife, and they all popped champagne on him. But you saw that band on his leg, and you could see the way he was walking. I don't know if it's one of those, like, those micro steel bands
right,
that have the threading down it and stuff that kind of keep it stiff and stuff. But, hey, he was hopping around. His slide did kind of get caught up on his foot, and he was able to roll his ankle a little bit and put his slide back on. So, man, what a freaking feat for somebody who, since coming out of Utah, hands were too small, still first overall pick, and just keeps getting. Niners didn't want you. Chiefs thought somebody else was better. It's Pat Mahomes. But, just somebody who's just always had the bad end of the stick, and just shout out to him to keep overcoming, keep having that grit. If I went through 17 surgeries in 9 months, baby girl would probably have to give me a motivational Tebow speech every freaking day just to get me out of bed to go do life.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do anything. I'd stay in the wheelchair. I wouldn't even got past the wheelchair stage.
Yeah, and this man is ready to enter back into the NFL on an active roster with the most freakish athletes in the world. Like, shout out to him. It's absolutely amazing. And you can't wish for anything better.
It's true. So the external fixator thing are the bones that are outside the body, basically, the metal. So, like, it's just a big metal stick that is the bone, so that his actual bone didn't have any weight put on it. It's on the metal. So basically he was using a bionic leg for
It was
8 months.
Forrest Gump and didn't break it
Yeah,
off.
basically. So, but hey, he broke it off, and now he's coming back,
Yes.
and he doesn't have to worry about getting hit by Chase Young because he's on his team. And but hey, story of perseverance, man, and just because we know our audience, Mackenzie Milton as well, same kind of story, and he says he's back and ready to go as well. We've seen the practices that he's done, so that's two guys that looked like they had career, not even career ending, life changing leg injuries. And I know that Milton almost died as well from it. So that's amazing. That's willpower. That's huge. These guys they're big men. They do a lot of things. It doesn't take the biggest, baddest, strongest dude to be a hero, man. And you can see these guys being the everyday heroes. So there's not much better we can say on our shout out than be like Alex Smith, Mackenzie Milton, Paul George, all those guys. And if something takes you down, man, don't let it take you out. And as always, be a stud, not a scrub.